Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Welcome back, family caregivers, older ones, entrepreneurs, those in families where you have to take care of a spouse and you're bridging your gaps and you're an entrepreneur. Welcome back to my channel, Lana's Little Things with me, Dr. Lana, specialist gerontologist, talking all things on ageless living, bridging generational gaps, entrepreneurship life, life itself, and family caregiving. However, this is the 1st of February, and I thought I'd start this month based on something that one of my more favorite mentors, Graham Cochrane. You'll find him. I'll leave him in the link below. Talks he One of the things he said about this year. You want to shake things up? You want to really have a passion about something? Really bring it to the fore? Be as authentic and present your passions. Present a topic that no one wants to talk about, but everyone knows is right there in front of them. What are we going to talk? And I thank you, Graham. Thank you, wherever you are. For today's topic, I'm going to talk about aging, age shaming, ageism, and shame. Are we ashamed? Because are we ashamed to get older, to be considered to be getting older? The baby that was born yesterday is a day older. Why is there shame? And is there shame so much about getting older? Are you ashamed of the fact that you have a family member you have to take care of who is older? Are you ashamed, or is there shame in you for as an older person? I'm talking over 65, 70, 80. Are you ashamed of your age? Are you going in a corner because, well, as my grand used to always say, well, this world is for young people, so we don't count. And she used to say that so well. She's still around, love her. She said that all the time, so frequently. This world belongs to young people. And our older ones, us older ones, will not matter. We won't matter. Nothing matters. We don't count. I want to talk passionately. I'm going to talk freely. So bear with me. And please remember to like and subscribe and share your comments and let me know if there's any comment, any topic you want me to cover on anything to do with aging, anything to do with family caregiving. I'm always eager to hear your views. I hear views from my patients and clients and friends and general conversation all week long. There's no end to the material. But what I find has been coming up over and over again and has been a big topic for me personally, a pet peeve, and has come up over and over again this week, especially. I thought, you know what? I want to talk about it. I'm going to open this can of worms if it is one, and we're going to talk about this topic. It's time because we have more older persons in this world, as the United Nations has said, more over 60 than under 5. Population has already aged. We've got to get with the program, and we cannot be ashamed. And why is it so? The stories repeated of caregivers exhaustion, caregiver burnout, physician burnout, families this what's the word, dysfunction, older persons being feeling relegated, older persons feeling dismissed, the increase in older suicide among older persons, the feeling of the depression, the anxiety, the sleepless nights, the increase in dementia, the increase in delirium. Now, all these are multifactorial, but there has been a definite increase especially those who I meet and persons I've heard about, and I'm sure you have as well. Those who have loved ones, friends, spouses, family members they're looking after, or living in the same home, who are just not themselves anymore. Every time they speak about what they're unable to do. No one wants us around. We're not valued anymore. And families are struggling with caregiving. And yet, when you ask, when I've asked, and when colleagues have asked, would you want a group session? No, no, because nobody's to know my family's business. I can't talk about what's happening. I, I don't want everybody to know what's going on with my mom or my grandmother because they're gonna do this or do that. Really? And it perpetuates the cycle. Silence never solved a problem. Not speaking out has never resolved an issue. Communication might be challenging, but it is not impossible. It is not. It's just a matter of coming to an understanding of here's where you stand and empathize with the person's viewpoint. However, accepting the viewpoint that you have of yourself, of your family, of your situation, wherever you may be, that is key. So I'm gonna talk for just a few minutes. And I'm gonna rant and rave. I feel like it might sound that way. I apologize, but I'm very passionate about this topic, and it's really become like we've got to talk about this now. So let's do it in three parts. You know me, and threes and threes and threes. Let's understand what is shame. What is shame? Why is it seeming to be on the increase? And obviously, more importantly, what can be done? What types of shame exist? And is there anything that we can do? And then at the end of it, if this moves you or you feel to have a further discussion, please link with me and we can connect for a Zoom call on any of these topics, especially those who are physicians or family caregivers and you're finding it more and more challenging to even broach the subject of shame. Shame, fear, grief, loss seem to be taboos in our society. No one wants to allow you to cry, allow you to feel embarrassed. We are human beings. We have all emotions. It can't always be smiley and roses all the time. That's unrealistic and impossible. Here I go. So here we go. What is shame? I'm just going to give a definition. Shame is a universal emotion affecting people of all ages. Oh, if you fell in town, for example, which I have many, many times. Although I don't think I have much shame now. But certainly in the beginning, the shame that comes with guilt, comes with a sense of who's watching me. I'm inferior of some kind. Oh, the embarrassment. How could I have done that? I am no I am now low in everybody's minds and estimation because I did something silly, because I did something that wasn't acceptable, or because I was viewed in a particular way. And then all of a sudden I am unlovable. I'm inferior. What does that do to a person's psyche? So that's shame. Shame, shame puts us in a corner. Shame hides us. And we need to bring this out. We need to have this conversation. We need to broach the topic. I'm not a shame expert, but seeing it so much and it's just hurting me to just see families and hear families talk about it and nothing's being done and it's just getting worse and worse. That's hurtful. So that's shame. When you feel ashamed, what do? It's a feeling of brokenness, isn't it? It's a feeling of disconnect. Now, how does that deal with age? Everyone's getting older, but somehow in recent times, every commercial, unless it's insurance or unless it's funeral planning, or unless it's last uh, final plans, or unless you're talking about what you're going to will to your family, or unless you're talking about being ill, there seems to be no place for older persons in our society. How do you think that makes an older person feel? How do you in your family, knowing you have older persons and taking care of them, when someone says, "Oh, well, the world's for young people. All the people already should really go sit down and go in a rocking chair and just wait." In my Caribbean, we just say wait for the Lord, as in wait for death, as in wait to just go your way. Why? Why? If 50 is the new 40, 40 is the new 30, can't 60 be the new 50? Yes, cells change. Yes, things happen. Yes, aging is a process, not a disease. Remember, it is not a disease. But the perception that persons are getting, older persons, families, people in general, is that, and I'm talking people in their 30s and 20s and mm, going close to the 40. Well, I'm getting older. I'm old now. What? What? If you start with that mentality, how are you going to be viewing somebody who's 60 years old? How are you going to be viewing someone who's 70? Oh, their time is gone. They have nothing to offer. How do you think they feel? How how is it we're not talking about this? Why are we so ashamed of age? Why are we so ashamed to be getting older? Why are we so ashamed to let persons know I have an older family member, I am struggling, this has happened with them, that has happened with them. I'm not saying you're broadcasting your business to everybody else. I'm saying, I'm suggesting, I'm pleading as a doctor, as a granddaughter, as a physician, as a coach for caregivers, as a coach for those who are like how I was, burnt out physicians. Like, we don't know what to do next, how to view this next. How do we view this changing environment that just seems to have happened all at once? What happens then if they see all of those youngsters and they feel put in a corner? What's going to happen then? They're going to go into something called internalized age shame. That is, now you're to feel guilty because you're getting older. 1 year after another year, people go to all lengths to celebrate the changes of a year. And yet, the changing of a year seems to be the changing of a guard into guilt, into shame, into embarrassment because you're older. Because you're older. So now you feel inside of it. Older people have often told me, I don't want anybody to see me. I don't want them to see how my face is. I don't want them to see how I look. Look how I look. I look terrible. Terrible for what? I mean, these are people who are fit, healthy, no high blood pressure. Even if they have it, their chronic disease is controlled, and they want to do it, but they're ashamed because their family is ashamed of them. They're ashamed of themselves. They don't want to go outside. They don't want to associate because everybody else in the world has said, "Oh, you're to be backed out in a corner." It's only the 20s and the 15s and the 10s. Really? Where does wisdom come from? Wisdom comes from age. As you know, I'm a Christian. What happened to the Bible's viewpoint of respect, gray headedness, respect, wisdom, regard it, regard it? There's no one that can have 20 years experience and wisdom unless they've lived 20 years. There's no one that has 80 years experience and wisdom unless they've lived 80 years. I talked to a beautiful patient this week, and she told me something. She mentioned something I'd never thought about. And she said, "Well, thank you, Doc, for helping me to feel better." I said, "Well, thank you for your wisdom." No, that was a priceless exchange for me because I know I'm talking to older persons. We gotta get the conversation open. What is the embarrassment about being older? Why is the shame and feeling of, I can't talk about this. I can't talk about me having to change my mom. I can't talk about my father's or this fact that I'm struggling to take care of them. I don't know how to turn them. I don't know how to talk to them. I don't know what to do. An older person saying, nobody wants me. Nobody wants us. We're in a corner on our own. No one comes and calls. No one passes by. No one says anything. Do you not? This is the rise of mental health disease. This is the rise of anger. This is the rise of discord and disagreements in families and downright animosity. It's the shame. It's the shame that hides like a monster. And we to face that monster by talking. It will only move by talking. So I go further. Internalized shame leads to doubt, fear, and like maybe I should go. Or the concepts or words like, well, oh, I forgot that. Well, I'm getting old. And this person's 40 or 50. I'm getting old? What do you mean? Are you automatically supposed to be decrepit, forgetful, um, and have nothing to offer as long as you've passed 15? Please, 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 let's think about this. Think about what's happening. The wisdom that you get from the ages. Why is it called wisdom of the ages? Wisdom of the aged. Why are they being relegated? Why are we ashamed to talk about our families? Why are we ashamed to talk our story? Why are we ashamed? Why are we ashamed of getting older? Why are we ashamed of a person who has gray hair and they're walking next to you? Why are we still in this mentality? Oh, an older man is distinguished, an older woman is just old. Uh-uh. It's gotta stop. It's just gotta stop. We gotta talk. We gotta talk. Women, especially, get to that point, are especially scrutinized. A 60-year-old female in our society, worldwide, Caribbean or otherwise, is not seen as, let me choose my words wisely, as as desirable as an older man in his 60s. That comes from society, from providing, from all the things that a man is supposed to do. But men aren't exempt either. And males often, especially when it comes to maybe sexual matters or um, they don't want anyone to know that a knee is hurting or they don't want persons to think that they're going down and they don't feel, excuse me, the same way. They don't say anything. What does that do to society? Separates us. Does that bridge gaps? No, because those in the middle group, the sandwich generation between children and older ones, don't want the younger ones to see the older ones get older. Younger people have no concept of what an older person looks like. Everything must be new, 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 new. Is that tenable? Is that possible? Has a society ever been able to stand on legs that have just been born? Why are we ashamed? Why can't we come into groups? This is what I'm passionate about. Having groups, forming your caregiver group, forming a group with your peers if you're an older as the older persons. Find your friends. Ask about your friends. If you're taking care of someone whose good friend might need to be on phone or who might not be able to get around, can we FaceTime? Can we use the technology? Why are we ashamed of each other? Why are we ashamed of age? Why? Why? Again, because, oh, they're a burden. They should go. They spent enough money. We spending too much money on them. Who you think built up the healthcare plans and worked hard to get our generation and subsequent generations that kind of robust um, opportunities, the older ones. We can't stand on their shoulders. The shoulders are too frail. The shoulders don't count. it's shameful. It really is. What about interpersonal ageism? That happens with relationships, that happens at work, that happens among friends, that happens when even younger friends might say, oh, well, we could go at some auntie, she used to cycle, but if we go outside and ask her, she's not going to keep up with us, so let's not ask her anything. Maybe we'll just go by her fatigue. Or maybe we'll just give her a call. You know what? Auntie might be outrating you. So think about it. Institutionalized ageism. Automatically you go into a store, you go somewhere, you go into a restaurant, and immediately you're judged. If you have a small gray hair, you have one gray hair sticking out, you're getting up there. So what? Are we all going older? Will your parent is 90, your parent might be 80. If you live long enough, are you gonna be 80 and 90? Would you want someone to treat you like a tossed old, decrepit old bag? I'm very, very passionate and serious about this now. Because, and I'm stirring this pot, I'm stirring it, I'm stirring it, because it's got to stop. People are desperate. People are having extreme mental health concerns. People are having discord. There's violence. There's domestic violence. There's in house. There's elder abuse. There's elder neglect. There's community dysfunction. Yes, there are certain things that will come with that, but it's the shame, it's the guilt, it's the embarrassment. They like to hide. They like to, they work by hiding. How do we resolve this now? Because we talked about all these things that are bad, uh, internalized and institutionalized and externalized ageism and discrimination, the viewpoints that are starting to increase when it comes to persons who are older. What can be done then? Let's talk some solutions. And again, feel free to find me on www.landslittlethings.com or email me at. I'll leave all the links below. And let's have a clarity call where we see how we can work together, and share this with a friend. Like and subscribe. Join me every week for another topic on the same issues, because these, it's not going away. It's not going away. Just a few points more I had in terms of uh, ageism, and how we solve, how do we work it through, how do we explore it? First, acceptance. You're getting older. Okay. You've been getting older since you were born. It is inevitable. Unless you die young, which you don't want, you will be older. So maybe preemptive strikes and say, well, I want to do this, I want to do that. Put no label on your age. My grand used to always say, if you tell your brain how old you are and keep saying that, your brain is going to look for what you're supposed to do or not do at that age, and it will stop. And you will stop. And then you will want to do nothing. Think about our own stereotypes. Think about our own discriminations. Think about the language that we use when we see an older person. Hey, you look good for your age. Or, oh, oh, hi. How you doing? You able to exercise? What are they? That's elder speak. That is insulting. This is someone who has lived, who was 40, 30, 20, same as us. Same as us. They are attractive, they have their own sexuality, they have their own life, they're still here. Even if something, maybe physically or mentally, maybe there's a dimension, yes, okay. But there's mental health that can be, that's dealt with on a doctor level. I'm talking of the social level. I'm talking about stopping the shame, stopping the discrimination. Look at your own stereotypes and work around it. Find family groups, find peer groups, make your own caregiver group, have your own peer group as friends. Find FaceTime to talk, to just talk as normal. And when you see an older person, instead of saying, oh, she should really or he should really sit down, go home and relax. No. Hello, I'm so and so, I mean, depending on how you're strangers. Stay connected. Make the connection. Make the older friend. And you know what? Just like what happened with me this week when I, I prescribe medication or I make a suggestion, I in turn felt as though I gained more from the visit than maybe the patient did because the wisdom we need, it needs to stop the discrimination, the shame, the shame. Brene Brown always talks about guilt and shame, and I would encourage you to have a look at her points. I'm agitating not for change, just agitating for a different thought process this time, a different mindset, a different way of looking at things. Because guess what? If you live for 20, if we live, I live 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, don't you dare, don't you dare ask me to go sit down in a corner. Because the mentality, your body hears the truth and keeps the score. Our mind will tell our bodies what to do. And let us give our mind something positive to look at. Let us give our older persons hope. Let us, as an older person, you are valid. You are valuable. What you say matters. And we need to hear each other. I know that's not my usual juicy, flowery speech, but I felt very strongly because it's just been coming and coming and coming and coming. We need to talk. We need to empathize and we need to smile and view each other as human beings and not as disposables. From my heart to yours, Dr. Lana. Signing out. Until next time, age is a process. Shame hides. Communication thrives. Communication is our lifeblood. Let us talk. Let us talk. Let us empathize. Let us understand. Let us love each other and bring it in a way that not only older ones feel love, but we see why wisdom comes from the aged. We'll talk next time. Leave your comments. Talk to me. Let us have this conversation. Work with me if it feels too overwhelming. We'll send the link. From my heart to yours again.